the Netflix docuseries that's still going. There's more episodes coming at some point called Breakpoint. The Curse, the real? Or
It's funny. So the curse was like everyone in the tournament lost, you know, and Berrettini lost in the first round. But you know, I was a tennis fan. Obviously, I'm a tennis fan. I was a tennis fan.
we're doing this podcast.
So they had, I think it's Formula One, and I forgot what it's called, something to drive or something.
Yeah.
And it's really popular, and it really put Formula One on the map in the United States. They had a big turnout in Miami, and I know they had it in Austin, and I tried to get into it. I don't know. I can't get into car racing. Everyone's like, you got to watch this one, you know, and it's the same producers, and I really enjoy. So I think all the tennis fans were like, oh my God, this is really going to put tennis on the map. So we'll see. I think a lot of it came out, like I said, during the NFL playoffs, and not like they released 5 episodes. And we'll go through every episode, but just give like a brief synopsis. But
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. I think tennis fans were thinking, oh my God, now it's going to become super popular and all these players are going to become popular.
I don't know.
I don't think that really happened, but we'll see. I mean, there's still time because the stuff on Netflix kind of...
It slowly trickles through,
Yeah, right?
and people get like, well, I'll watch this because, you know,
Yeah.
it's popular, or
Yeah.
it's on the top, or it's new, or something like that.
Right. I
don't
love
know.
it. This is like made for guys like me and Leo. So we're talking more of the casual people that don't know about tennis, but I thought it was really well edited, and I thought it was really well done. I like all these players that are in it. So they released the first 5 episodes. First one was about Nick Kyrgios, who is a controversial player and a super talented player, probably the most talented and the most entertaining player on tour. He's one of my favorites to watch. A lot of people hate him because he does stuff. So they followed him. So they shoot it for a year, and then they edit it, and then so we're seeing last season. So they released, his home slam, which is the Australian Open. I don't know. It's just, he comes across just as unprofessional. He doesn't have a coach. He doesn't practice. You know, he's too cool for school. That Kokonakis is his doubles partner. They knew each other from juniors. And I think he really likes a team environment. And basically what I got out of that episode is that he became super famous as a 19-year-old. And just like the fame is just, obviously we can't relate to anything with fame, but
he beat Nadal in Wimbledon out of nowhere, right?
So the fame, the pressure, and then he constantly had people following him around Australia and cameras, and I think he self-sabotages when he gets stressful and he yells at the box, and he went to the finals of Wimbledon, and I'm sure that I saw that in the upcoming that they're going to show.
Oh, cool.
And, he's a real likable guy, but, he's not a typical tennis player.
No, he's not.
No.
And he's first to say it, too, right? He's just... I mean, I think he's joked, like, that wasn't that the joke? He's gonna retire after he wins one slam or something like that, or... Well,
he goes through, like, a chiropractor, and the guy... all these guys have a physio, which is a guy that does both physical therapy, and they do it's like a personal trainer / both. They all have these guys. They're really important. He doesn't have that. He's, I should do this all the time, but I don't. I'm like, yeah, but why aren't you doing this?
Yeah, I remember, wasn't there a little brouhaha of Roddick out of that because he said Roddick said he's like a part-time tennis player.
Yeah,
because he just does it when he wants to, but he brings it when he does. It's not like these other people.
He's amazing to watch. It's disappointing because he's so talented and he self-sabotages, but they break it down. I think it was detachment issues with his mom earlier on.
Yeah, they went a little bit his background a little bit.
He acts like he could have been an NBA player. It's like,
my dream is to be a basketball superstar.
Come on, dude. Like, you're 6'3". I'm sure you're athletic, but NBA players, come on. You're from Australia. 13, I had to play. It's like, yeah, the dad was, they probably are not wealthy. And he's like, dude, you can be a professional and make money. And
yeah,
he was so hung up on not being able to play basketball. But,
yeah.
The second episode was
Berrettini
and Tomljanovic. They're 2 professional players that were dating.
Yeah.
What did you get out of that one?
I mean, it was interesting to see the background a little bit and behind the scenes, quote unquote. Are they not together anymore?
No.
No? Okay.
He's
All
like a
right.
model now.
Okay. Well, it's such a tough sport to have a fellow tennis player, you know.
That's what I got.
Yeah?
Don't date another tennis player because you need all the attention and you need, and we'll go on the next episode with Fritz. You need someone that's like completely devoting their life to supporting you. I mean, that's what Roger Federer's success, you know, his wife she
was a pro.
gave up her career. And you need people that are just supporting you. You have to be selfish to have like another player. I mean, it's
that one scene where like, oh, I'm supposed to be at whatever time. I think it was Tomjanovic had a ESPN or Tennis Channel interview. I'm like, well, I'm gonna have it here. And Berrettini's like, I got a match in the morning. Can't you go somewhere else?
Yeah,
like get another room or go downstairs. And it's like, really?
I agree.
But I get it. Right? You're like, this is like a freaking Grand Slam. I gotta bring it. I can't be catering, which sucks from a personal level, but I get it.
Berrettini's very likable guy, family Italian. His grandparents are really cool. Same with Tomjanovic. She's very into social media. I follow her. You know, very good player. I think later on they're going to show she beat Serena.
In the U.S. Open. Yeah.
Her thing was always pressure. I'm sure they'll get into that. She didn't do well. I think her dad is really like her coach, which a lot of these women have their dad as the coach. Yeah, she's very likable. Very, I was really impressed when she gave that interview after the Serena match. Yeah, so what I learned from that is don't date another tennis player.
If you're a pro tennis player. And Fritz and Sakar was episode 3.
So Fritz, I am a huge fan of, and it took him a while. He was really hyped as a junior. And, his mom, I think both his parents were professionals, or the mom was a professional. He was like bred to be a tennis player. So he has this girlfriend who is like a social media person who... I don't know. They're both really young, and I do follow her. I follow all these guys.
My boyfriend's playing in the Australian Open today. Let's get dressed. I want to try this because you guys know I like to dress like a tennis ball. I was thinking about doing this shirt. Obviously, would need to iron it. Have you guys noticed influencers like never steam their clothes?
I got from that was interesting. Is he seems to be doing better because he has like her support and everything. He has a kid. They don't even mention that. He had a kid when he was
they
like
didn't
18.
talk about that at all.
I'm not trying to judge here, but I thought that was a little weird. And the other thing that I thought was strange, he was playing in a final at Indian Wells, which is a big tournament. We'll talk about that. It's coming up. It's in Palm Springs area against Nadal, and he had an injury, I believe, in practice or during the match.
Yeah.
They were trying to talk him out of not playing it, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, okay, number one, yes, they were trying to talk him out of like, well, Paul Annacone, his coach, was like, well, you got your whole career, maybe this isn't worth it.
Coach, he was Sampras's coach.
Yeah,
I think Federer too, and
yeah, I think he was for a little bit. Yeah,
he's on the Tennis Channel. He's a great guy.
Yeah, but yeah, he was trying. It seemed like, yeah, you got an injury, you got to watch it. Maybe you shouldn't do this. Is it worth it? But he was insistent going out there. Okay, yes, I get that aspect, dramatization, but they never mentioned Nadal had an injury too. He had a broken rib.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about Nadal's injury at all. They just talked about Fritz's injury and how he overcame it to win a final at a Masters 1000 event, which
big to win the Masters.
Huge.
And to be Nadal, and
yeah,
Fritz is legit contender for a major.
Yeah.
I really like him, and the girlfriend can be a little annoying, but I do like her and I appreciate her. Sakari is a Greek player. Her mom was a player. I mean, obviously, it's a country that really doesn't have a lot of pro tennis players.
Mm-hmm.
What I think they didn't get too much into is that coach is he's young. He's one of the youngest coaches on the tour.
Okay.
Coach, and she mentioned that they were friends, and oh man, it's all mental with her. I mean, I think she's top 5. She doesn't seem close to the really good players, in my opinion. What do you think?
She got to get over those mental hurdles, and then I think she has the potential. But they all have the potential, even up to the top 50. I feel like they have the potential,
she just
right?
Kind of falls apart. I don't know. I didn't find her that interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to hear her backstory, but that was my takeaways from episode 3 was, yes, Fritz. It was cool to see that dynamic. It dramatized a little bit in that final. Probably left a few things out, but whatever. I get it. And the Zakaria was interesting to see her backstory and understand her as a player, because I admit in my previous episodes, like I said, I didn't watch a lot of women's tennis, so it was good to see. Okay, so now I can kind of put together who these people are, because I don't really know a lot of these.
She's super strong. She's super fit. She's a great athlete. Listen, it would be interesting if they followed one, Joe, the big three or whatever, or Serena, their mentality. Serena talks a little bit. They talk a little bit about the pressure. All these guys talk about is pressure. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. It's like, all right, get a mental coach. Not let's take a different frame with it. They're like, it just seems they lose before they even get on the court.
Yeah, Maria Sharapova. Yeah, I couldn't say that word. She was on there a lot talking about pressure, right?
Yeah. So they did a great job. They have Andy Roddick and Maria Sharapova, two, retired champions, really articulate. So
Chris Everett was on there, too. Yeah.
And really well done. So I guess so. That's episode 3. Episode 4 was Badosa and Jabeur.
Yeah.
Badosa is she kind of came out of nowhere.
She was like number 2, right?
Really good player. She's really popular online. She dates like this male model. Those two are just constantly posting stuff. She from Spain, and then they followed her at the Madrid.
Oh yeah.
That was a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she didn't. I don't remember the outcome, but Jabeur went pretty far. On Jabeur, so that was interesting.
On Jabeur is a very interesting player that really doesn't get a lot. She should be getting more press. She's got so many different styles of play. She's a drop shot dragon.
Amazing
drop shots.
She's
very likable. Everyone likes her on the tour, and she's from Tunisia.
Yeah,
and she's Arabic, which are a first for both. And I know she made the Wimbledon final, so that'll be interesting to see a little bit more of her. And then the final was
Felix,
who's a French Canadian. And Casper Ruud, so both their dads. So Felix's dad was a teaching pro, and the mom said that he started traveling as what was it, like 9 years old?
Yeah, he was young.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He's another one of these bred
Can
for
you
tennis.
imagine 9? He had no life. I mean, he's young. He's 20, but I don't know if being a professional tennis player is that great.
You got to start young.
Sports,
you got to start young.
Football, baseball, basketball, even golf. It all seems better than being a tennis player. It's so hard.
They start you young,
so much
and
travel. There's no social interaction.
Very lonely sport.
So he was bred to be a tennis player by his dad. I guess that's the case with most of these guys. And he asked Tony Nadal, which is Rafael Nadal's uncle, who was
former
Nadal's coach.
Yeah.
Or former coach, to be his coach.
Yeah.
And he plays Nadal, and
this is the French Open, right? They're following.
No. It's
French Open.
It's
the French Open. They're at. Yeah.
So Tony was like, "Oh, I think the media again blew this out of proportion. I think it was agreed upon, which I don't know. Felix kind of didn't really say it, but more of the agent kept on saying it that it was agreed upon if he plays Nadal,
that he'd be in
we're not
his
helping you, or I'm being independent. So the whole theme was that he's not helping him beat Nadal because he doesn't want to help him beat his uncle. And it's like, dude, why am I having you as a coach?
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting. And then
I wonder how much of that was a little bit drama for the episode for the show. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but all the other coaches how unprofessional in the media, because he wasn't going to sit in the box or give him tips on how to beat his nephew.
He wasn't even there, right? He was
there and he left early.
Oh, yeah, right. He couldn't. I can't bear to watch the end.
Yeah, so it was a bit much. And then Casper Ruud, he kind of came on the scene. He's been around for a while. I think he's number 2. He's a really good player, good forehand, good serve, just really consistent. His dad was a player, and his dad's the coach. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
What I got out of that was he lost that. So Nadal is his idol, and Nadal has a training facility in school where he plays with them. And I guess he said, "I've never beat him, even in a practice match." It's Nadal. I mean,
he lost before he won. Before he played. It's that mental thing.
they show the warm ups. He's sitting there like so. There's a time period where they're back behind being ready to be announced to the crowd, and you're waiting in the locker room, so to speak. And some of them film them back there. That seems to be the trend now, especially the Australian Open. So you see them warming up, and Nadal's like doing all these things, like warm them up, getting pumped up.
He always does that. That run around thing with his racket and jump up, and
it intimidates all. I mean, that guy was like shitting in his pants before he even went out there. He had that lock, like right. He was just like that was like. I just listen. He came in second, runner up. He's still young. Listen, be proud of it, but be a little pissed that you didn't win. Be a little bit more competitive. That's what I got out of it, right? Like
he didn't. I agree. He did not feel like. I felt like he already lost before he won, and he just went out there to hopefully win, which that is not the attitude you need at that level. You need to get out there and be like, I'm going to F and win this. I'm going to do everything I can and put it all out in the court. But I don't feel like that's where he was at that moment in his life.
Easier said than done. It's Nadal. It's French Open. I mean, I don't know. The record was crazy. They showed it. What is he? 271 and 1.
Oh yeah, that stat was crazy to see on the screen. Like, okay, yeah, that he's like 90% win rate.
And then like the dramatic music when Nadal comes, he's got his bags, like his racket bag, another bag. I mean now, and the other guy's like, oh no, he's Rafael Nadal. Easy for us to laugh as you know. Obviously, we can't relate to that. But
I probably would be the same way to a degree. But you know what?
Come on, man.
It's funny.
I mean,
it's funny. If you're at that level, you figure you got to have.
No way he was beating them. Like that was
not the French.
No,
I mean it's kind of a done deal. If Nadal's healthy and he's playing well and he's on clay, he's almost 90% of the time guaranteed to have a win. Yeah. But he's getting injured. Right. And he's getting older. I mean, we'll see how much longer he has
I
on.
liked it. Obviously, it's tailor-made for me. It'd be interesting to see how it does with the rest of the public. I think they're going to show the next 5 probably before Wimbledon. That's what they'll probably release it before that. I think it's Wimbledon and the U.S. Open.
Yeah, to the end of the year. Yeah, they stopped halfway through.
It'll be interesting. Jabor's in the finals of Wimbledon, and I really like all these players a lot. I definitely like Kyrgios, Fritz, Berrettini, Sakari, Tomljanovic.
But none of them made it out of the Australian after this.
Yeah, so I thought
Hence
it was
the
interesting.
curse.
What I see, like the greats, do you think Djokovic is like, oh my God, I'm number one, the pressure? I just don't.
No, I don't.
I think that's what separates their mentality. That's why they're great. But, armchair quarterback or whatever, armchair tennis player, what the hell do I know? But that's what I got out of it. It just seemed like, didn't they seem kind of weak mentally?
And now I can't, and ain't nobody loves old Ray no more.
And they just seemed weak.
Yeah, mentally weak. They already had them.
I just want to see people like, and Sakari said, I want to be number one in the world. Yes, we want to see that. But fuck, I can beat these guys. Like, come on, I'm good. Like,
I mean, just to play devil's advocate a little bit. I mean, I personally agree with you. Like, if you're going to go out there and you're going to be the best in the world, you got to beat the best. And you have to change your mentality to be like, I'm going to win because I've got the game to win, or I'm going to win because I had hard time, whatever, fill in the blank. But just to play devil's advocate, if you were growing up watching these guys at like 8 and 9, and then you've got to be on the other side of the court and they're still good and they're still winning, I could see that there's that little like,
you've lost to them so many times.
Right. You're like, holy crap. How do I do this? I don't know how to do this.
That's why it's cool.
That's the tough part.
These guys don't have that scar tissue and have all these losses, and they're young and athletic.
You have these young guys like you said, Rune, who beat Djokovic. I get it. He's just coming back. But you know what? Again, no scar tissue, right? So maybe they can just come out and take over the game. Like we talked about this last time. Every year we hope these are the next ones to take out the big 2 or 3 or whatever. But maybe.
Like, subscribe. If you have comments, we're looking for topics, especially club players, people that play. Hey, what do you guys want us to talk about? Let us know.